Hey, it's Rona, and today's Sunday, Scraplift Crafternoon. And today we are scraplifting Brianna, who is my life on paper, and she is celebrating 1,000 subscribers. So to scraplift this layout right here, she asked all of those who are playing along in the celebration hop to do monochromatic. So I'm also playing along with May I Scraplift You, and today was Brianna's day on Crystal Barrett's list, and she's the one who put together the May I Scraplift You. So kind of all one thing, but 3 separate hops. So this is what I'm going to be using, and I am choosing my blue as my monochromatic color, and then I may have stretched the you can use neutrals a little far on this layout, but it was working fantastically with my photo and this layout. So I did add a lot of neutrals and then some of this color of blue, and I really like how it turned out. And I can tell you, this was really my jam. I had so much fun scraplifting this layout. I loved the torn bits. I loved all the texture. Brianna's layout is gorgeous. I watched her video, and that will be linked below, by the way, for this layout. She did a lot of stamping and then added a lot of texture. I actually had some stamps that I was going to use, but I ended up going for the rub-ons. And I had so many great rub-ons to do the texture, and then I added lots of extra texture by way of rub-ons and some chipboard die cut pieces, and just some fabric. Well, it's kind of ribbon trim. I don't really know how you would explain. It's a twill and it's thick, and I had some thinner twill that was printed with the word happy on it. And anyway, so lots and lots of texture, and I love a lot of texture on a layout, especially a layout for a picture like what I'm doing today. This picture was of Grayson, my oldest grandson, and he loves animals. We were actually, had already left our house and was about 30 miles down the road when his baseball tournament got canceled because of rain. And so we turned around, and while we were traveling back, we called a friend of my husband's who had a bunch of baby goats, and we said, we don't have anything to do today now that baseball got canceled, so let's go see these baby goats, and that is what we did. And we had a lot of fun. They were adorable, as baby goats are, and we took some feed for them and gave that to the family, and the goats were very sweet, and it was fun. So you can see here I have torn the paper that I'm going to be using for the layers, just like Brianna had. I think she had torn 2 strips. I did 2 strips, but then I also used the packaging and added a 3rd strip, and I just needed that separation in there, and I thought it worked out well. You can see that I've used a couple of colors of blue and then some of these neutrals. So I did pull out 3 or 4 different collections. They're all $49 in market, however. And then I have some embellishments that are from Stamperia, and you'll see those here in a little bit. They are like a chipboard, but they're it's a laser cut chipboard pieces, and I really like how those looked, and they had the same color as the twill that I'm going to be using. I'm getting everything on here straight right now, and then I'm going to find a pencil and I'm going to mark. I wanted a 1.5 inch border all the way around, and as you can see in Brianna's layout, she also did that. Hers may have been 2 inches in, I'm not positive, and that's what she did with stamping, but it was stamping of like a faux stitch. So I'm going to use my machine and then do actual messy stitching. And it kind of looks very similar to what she did. So I put the blue photo mat because I obviously didn't want to stitch through the chipboard frame that I had pulled out, but I'm going to stitch, and here I've done it now off screen with some brown thread all the way around, including that photo mat. So trying to remember how I had it, and that is right there. And part of the stitching is covered up by the photo in the bottom, but I'm going to add some more stitching with rub-ons here in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead. She used a couple of film strips, and every time I see someone else do it in a scrap lift or whatever, I like to do it also because I have a million of these film strips and I don't think to pull them out and use them. So that is one of the fun things about a scrap lift. It reminds you to pull things out, and I probably spent 30-45 minutes pulling things out for this layout. I pulled out three or four different 49 Market collections, and then I sorted through and pulled out some of the things that I knew I wanted to use. I found, my different twill ribbons. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I found this very, very relaxing and just kind of playing, and I had a lot of fun with that. Things have been a little stressful with my mother-in-law getting her all settled, and if you've ever dealt with a loved one with Alzheimer's, you'll know that it's a difficult transition anytime they have to be moved, and so it's going well. I don't want to complain or anything like that. I love where she is. She's closer to my husband and I, and we get to see her every day, several times a day, and that's been great. She has loved all of the engagement that they do where she's staying. They just keep him busy all the time. She's sleeping well. It's been it's been really good in that way. So there's always some stressful things, but that part of it is really good. So we're going to settle into this, and it won't be as stressful, but we'll get there. So you can see now I'm just pulling out some different rub-ons. I am going to use that rub-on that I have pulled out, and it's kind of a lighter color, a lighter of the blues. I believe that one is from the Eucalyptus collection from 49 and Market. And I'm going to go right over the twill with it once I decide what all I want to do. And I'm kind of scattered here. I am going back and forth to the different cluster areas, adding little bits here and there. This is a rub-on, and it has the words favorite photo on it. And I wanted to add that up there. And then I'm going to add a little one of those chipboard pieces from Stamperia that I was talking about. Will go up in that area as well. I love the texture of that laser cut with the holes in it. I thought that was a really nice piece to add, and one of my neutrals. So I have neutrals going in like a white wood grain. I have neutrals as, obviously the back page, which is from Nature's Garden, I believe was the name of that collection. And also the blue paper that I tore over there is from that collection as well. And the packaging was also from that collection. There's the little chipboard, and I'm calling it chipboard. I really don't know for sure if that's chipboard. I mean, it's kind of it's pressed board of some kind. So I'm calling it chipboard. It's kind of a lighter color than what we normally think of when we think of chipboard. Here's some of this twill. This was from an oldie but goodie company called Sweetwater. I love their stuff. And it's just a twill that says happy. And they are still in business, but they just do fabric now. They do some beautiful stuff with fabric. So I like the texture of that. Got it kind of hooked around my frame and tucked in there. She didn't have anything like that, but she did have some ribbon or twill or something over on the side of her picture. So that's my nod to that piece. I liked how the twill went through the sewing machine. I didn't have any problems at all. And I went one time with a zigzag stitch and then kind of switched back and forth between a zigzag and a straight stitch all the way around the other three edges that didn't, not the twill edge. I did zigzag all the way up. And then I just did a real messy, went kind of weaving in and out with a straight stitch after I had gone all the way around once. So to get that fun little messy look. So you can see that I am adding foam tape behind certain things. Now this was fussy cut from the packaging, as was the first layer. I believe it was like a envelope. You saw that in the beginning, I'm sure. And this was also fussy cut from the packaging. I am going to take this time to say I decided to add some things at the end. As you know, sometimes I do. I had finished my slowdown at the end and added a few things, and the things that I added are in the final photos. So if you will stick around till the very end, I'm going to do some happy mail. And if you can leave a comment telling me what I added after I did my slowdown and before I didn't tape it at all. I did the slowdown and then I went off screen and decided I needed a couple of things to add to the clusters. And if you can tell me, even if you just tell me a couple of things, I think I added 3, 4 or 5 different things. And if you can tell me a couple of those, I will enter your name in for a little happy mail. I haven't done any happy mail in a little while, and I thought that would be fun. And let me know also in the comment if after you finish a layout, you decide you're not finished and you add to it. I seem to do that a lot. Sometimes I'll go back in and film it, but a lot of times I just keep adding stuff before, and it's fair game in my book. It's fair game until it's in the album. So I may, completely finish a layout and do everything and then still add something that you'll never see because it's in my albums and I don't record it or take pictures of it, but that's okay. That's part of my process. Let me know if you do that too. You keep looking and think I had one more thing that I just really need to add. This one had a lot of one more things. I could have kept adding and adding and adding, and Brianna on her original, she just kept adding and adding, and it was fun to watch her video, and it was really fun to kind of take that and run with it as well on my own layout. I'm adding foam tape behind these chipboard pieces only where it's not going to be overlapping because the little fence is overlapped. I had 1mm foam tape, and so I added just a little bit of 1mm where the pieces were not going to be right on top of that little fence piece. And I did these little barbed wire pieces and the little fence just kind of as a nod to the fact that we were on a farm. And I thought that worked out well, and we don't live on a farm, so I probably won't use them anywhere else. Might as well get them on there. These letters are burlap, and so old, I don't even know what collection they ever came with. They're just with my big stack of alphas that I continue to collect and hoard, I guess, because I don't get them used very often, and I never finish one off, it feels like. But these are like there's no sticky left at all on them. They have to be completely glued down. And I think that's part of the, kind of the nature of a thicker like this that has the burlap covered chipboard. The adhesive was not great on it at all, but that's okay because I like to glue those down anyway. So I have this piece of like a twine, and it's the light color of the twill. And I wanted it in a third place. And I am going to add it. You'll see that here in just a little bit. And it's going to serve the purpose of kind of building my cluster so that it touches. So the flower by the photo on the left-hand side, and then the rub-ons and things that I'm going to add up there in that cluster. Instead of having 4 clusters, I use that twill to kind of touch both places and make it into one cluster, if you will, just because it's all touching now. And the little that little twine worked great for that. So I hadn't decided at this point what I wanted to do, but once I kind of looked at how they were close together but not touching, I decided that that would be the perfect way to kind of finish that off. And I like how it worked out in the end. These little film strips are acetate, and so I only add my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive in places where it's not going to show. And it doesn't really show on the far edge where there's the darker, I don't really know, whatever that little darker area is. You can't see it. So I like to add the glue, whatever kind of glue you're using, in areas where it won't show. It's not as transparent because it's like a black printing. I added these little rub-ons, and they're just X's. And I thought that looked like it was stitching down part of the layers up there. And I'm just adding and adding. Here's some more rub-ons here. This is all from the eucalyptus collection. I did pull out toast also. And I ended up not using any of the toast because, again, I was using a lot of neutrals on this. Almost felt like I was cheating on monochromatic because it's really blue and all the shades of tans and browns. But since we usually consider a tan or brown craft, whatever, as kind of a neutral, it still gets to be monochromatic because I only have one actual color, which is blue. So I'm pulling out some of the chipboard pieces, decided very quickly that the dragonfly was way too big. The butterfly is going to jump around here quite a bit, and it will land in a place pretty much exactly where it is right now, but it takes me a while to get there. I have pulled out all of the hearts that are this color, and it's kind of the color of the background, and I really liked how those looked. And my title is Animal Lover, and I thought some hearts would be appropriate. And I like how those look. I put the larger heart kind of overlapping the frame a little bit, and then I just have the hearts in 2 places, the far left and then the far right by the photo. So I found another butterfly, and back and forth it flutters around quite a bit as well, trying to decide. But I liked having both of those butterflies are kind of the same color as the wood grain white frame and the wood grain white fence that are in those 2 places. So I knew I wanted something up there that was that lighter white color. So there's that one going to be put down, again, trying to decide exactly the perfect place. I needed a little bit more blue up in that cluster, and I found one little flower and kind of tucked it between the layers, and I liked it peeking out there. Getting everything glued down, especially chipboard. I always use the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to get that stuff glued down. At this point, I have lost my foam tape, and it's not the roll that's over there showing. It was the 1mm that I was missing, so I had to keep looking until I found it. It actually was put back where it was supposed to be. Imagine that. Everything else is all over my desk. I do clean up between each project, but while I'm working, this is part of my process. It's all over my desk and sometimes lost where it's supposed to be. Pulled out my tiny attacher. Here's the little twine that I was telling you about, and I'm going to secure that with glue, but I also decided it would be fun to add in one more texture, and so I used my tiny attacher to staple it in a couple of places. Because I have 2 places of staples, I'm going to add a third down there on that Sweetwater twill down there in the corner to give me that third place. And I glued in the areas where I wanted it to stay down where it was curving. So I think I'm coming right up on my slowdown. Yep, here it is. So again, leave me a comment on what I add. You'll see the close-ups and you'll see what I've added. There were some areas that I didn't have enough of the colors I wanted. So I really wanted some more color that matched the title. So I'm going to fix that. And I'm also going to add a little bit of blue over where I didn't feel like I had enough. And then I'll add a little bit more just for fun to, add to the clusters. So leave me a comment, and I will be back again tomorrow with another layout. I hope you have a great Sunday, and definitely check out all 3 of the playlists that are in the description box below. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.